What is up, my dudes, my dudettes, and wrestling colleagues of all kinds? DanTheBeast 94 here, coming back at you with Q&As with DanTheBeast 94. That's me. So here I am answering questions for you guys. I know I'm a day late, but I had a big tropical storm this past week in Connecticut, and I didn't have power for days. All my power got wiped out, so I wasn't able to record a video for you guys yesterday and post it up. But here I am making it up for you guys. So just in case you guys were concerned or worried on where the fuck I've been, yeah, that was the reason. I literally went days with no power. Luckily, I didn't have to throw my food out because I had a generator. So just no lights. Couldn't charge my phone. So I ended up spending like a couple days at my mother's house. But anyway, let's get started with answering these questions that you guys left for me last Friday. And before I start, make sure you hit that like button, leave your comments in the comment section down below, and subscribe. Especially if you're watching my videos and you're not subscribed. What are you doing? Hit that button. So let's get started here. First three questions are asked from my boy, your boy, no pun intended, MarkBoy316. And the first question he asked me is, which female wrestler would I interview? So, for some of you guys who aren't aware, myself and three other people, the Professor Rick Del Santo, the DVD Freak, and JJ Sins, all run a podcast called the Pro Wrestle Zone Podcast. Recently, we had an interview with, this was my first interview with a local wrestler from my area, Bold Dread. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll leave a link to our channel in the description down below. Tell me how I did, too. My first interview, I think I did pretty damn good. But anyway, which female wrestler would I interview? Boy, there's so many to choose from. But if there was a chance to interview one, just from meeting them personally, I'd probably have to say Christy Hemme. For some of you guys who checked my Twitter post a couple days ago, I posted a picture with me and Christy Hemme. I met her back in January of 2019, and she was just so kind and considerate. It was so cold that day, and it wasn't even about engaging with me. It was more like, oh my god, how cold are you? She's feeling my hand and everything, making sure I wasn't like freezing. She was just so concerned on how cold I was, and that was a lot of heart. The fact that she was very considerate, just knowing how I'm feeling, it's nice. So I'd definitely like to interview her. Hopefully one of these days. It'll probably be a hefty price, but if I could get a little bit of help doing that, that'd be really, really nice. Number 2, who's your favorite manager and why? Favorite manager? It's hard to pick a favorite, but I want to say James E. Cornette, because who doesn't love corny? I've been a big Jim Cornette fan the past couple of years now. One of my favorite tag teams that he's managed is the Midnight Express with Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane. My favorite incarnation, by the way. But Jim was always, he told it like it is. He was very blunt. He wasn't afraid to tell you, what was shit, what was not shit. And he's just one of those old school managers that you don't really see much nowadays. But always been a corny fan. And number 3, which pay-per-view would you have loved to have been in attendance for in front row any company? I would always love to be a part of a WrestleMania. And why not be in attendance for WrestleMania 18? Obviously the classic showdown between The Rock and Hollywood Hogan. I would have loved to have seen those two go at it live. And just because it's one of my favorite WrestleManias, yes, it's not the best WrestleMania, but it's definitely one of the most underrated. And I think Undertaker and Ric Flair stole the show that night. Well, match-wise, it's best match. But Hogan and Rock definitely got the crowd going that night. So I would have loved to have been a part of that ovation. These next let me see. Next question is from Porter's Unboxing. He's like, what WWE DVDs do you still need? I need a lot. Let's put it that way. I need a lot. I need a lot more pay-per-views, a couple more compilations, but I'm not looking to grab every single WWE DVD. So let's just face it, some of the WWE DVDs that they put out throughout the years, especially these past couple years, have been trash. I'm not a big fan of the best of Raw and SmackDowns. I'm not really a big fan of the best pay-per-view matches. It's just like, why have those when you have the pay-per-views? You buy the pay-per-view every damn month on DVD. What's the point of having that? Or best of Raw and SmackDowns. What's the point of getting those? You can go back into the network. Watch every damn episode from whatever year you want. No point in me buying those. I'll buy compilation sets. I'll buy documentaries that I don't have, with the exception of a few. But mostly pay-per-views I'm looking to collect. I'm starting to collect the early ones. Almost done with 03. Almost done with 05. Almost done with 06. I'm one away from completing 07. I'm waiting for that. I'm hoping it comes Monday, and I'll do a complete DVD review of that. And I'm looking for some WWF titles too. I just picked one up yesterday. I'm not going to say what it is till I get it, because I want to do an unboxing for you guys. I feel like it's been a while since I've done one of those. And I picked up a few things this past week, so be on the lookout. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm just looking to complete the years for pay-per-views, more or less. And then the last three set of questions are from Noah Ham. So, first question you ask me is, what's your favorite pay-per-view from start to finish? You know what? Just get it out the way. Favorite pay-per-view from start to finish is Survivor Series 2002. Remember back in the day, Netflix, this was before we had the app. You could just go on the app on your TV or whatever and look up anything. But this was back in the day when Netflix was doing like the kind of like what Redbox would do. You get the DVD, you rent out the DVD, and then you bring it back. That's how Netflix was. But they used to do wrestling. They used to have like WWE DVDs. So I used to pick up all the wrestling DVDs from like 2002, and I would watch them. And Survivor Series always was one of my favorites from start to finish. First match, you had 3-minute warning taking on Jeff Hardy, Spike Dudley, and Bubba Ray Dudley. That was a great match. Up to the last match, the Elimination Chamber, the first ever Elimination Chamber. Awesome. You had the triple threat tag team match for the SmackDown tag titles between Mysterio and Edge, Los Guerreros, Benoit and Angle. Phenomenal match. Brock versus Big Show, WWE Championship. Heyman turns his back on Lesnar, allies himself with the Big Show. Nobody saw that coming. You had a match between Trish and Victoria. And then you had that moment with Scott Steiner making his debut, or a return, you would say, as a singles competitor with the company, interrupting Chris Nowinski and Matt Hardy. But by far, one of my favorite pay-per-views of all time from start to finish. And then he asked me what my favorite return was. Oh boy, favorite return? I'll have to say Chris Jericho from 2007. Wouldn't think, those video packages that they were airing, I would never have thought that was Jericho. I remember sitting there for weeks when I was in school, like asking my friends, like, what was that? It was different. And then when they did that whole passing of the torch thing on Raw, and I seen the guy who was carrying the torch gets clotheslined, and you see the signature Jericho pose. I was like, no way. And this was at a time where he cut his hair too, I'm like, what? He cut his hair? But that was a cool return. That was a really cool return, and he cut a good promo that day. And I remember the next day, I ended up getting the WWE magazine with him on the cover. So obviously this was already planned out. So it would have been weird to get the magazine on Raw that Monday and like, oh, Jericho's returning tonight or something. But it was, it was so ironic. Like that happened on Raw, and then the next day I'd get the Jericho magazine saying Jericho's back. I'm like, what if that didn't go as planned? But that was my favorite return of all time. And then the final question you asked me is, if you were to book your own wrestling show, what would it be? What would be the main event and any specific stipulations? Oh my gosh. Now I'm a booker. But you know what? If I had to pick any type of main event with any specific stipulations, I think I'm gonna say this because I think this is everybody's dream match. But I'm gonna say Undertaker versus Sting. That would definitely be my main event. But I would want them in their prime. Definitely in their prime. So you're talking about Crow Sting, maybe like early 2000 Sting versus early Dead Man Inc. Undertaker. Um, the match stipulation, anything goes, maybe. Falls count anywhere. I'd definitely love to see that. Uh, or maybe like a 3 stages of hell match. Don't really see a lot of those nowadays. Yeah, maybe that 3 stages of hell. And I think if I had to pick the 3 stages, one would be a regular match, two would be a submission, especially with Undertaker's Hell's Gate and Sting doing the Scorpion Deathlock. And then the third match, Hell in a Cell. Why not? But that is it for today's questions, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. As always, hit that like button, leave your comments in the comment section down below, and subscribe. Especially if you're watching my channel and you're not subscribed. What are you doing? Hit that button. And until next time, guys, DanTheBeast 94, signing off.